This is the 2021 version of the Ford Bronco. It's the Outer Banks. And the question we're going to try to answer in today's video, is this a better used model to buy than a used Jeep Wrangler? Let's talk a little bit about what you can expect to find here if this is something you want to buy. I'm borrowing this model, by the way, from my friends here at Jimmy Grande Ford in Stonewall, Louisiana. If you want to know more about the vehicle, just click on the link down in the description of the video. This Bronco is best described as having impressive all-terrain capabilities. It has a pleasant on-road steering and driving experience. It's actually quite comfortable. Helpful technology features are very helpful for both on and off-roading experiences, and it offers an extraordinary level of customization. You know, that kind of sounds a lot like a Jeep. Which one do you prefer? Well, make sure to tell me down in the comments by the time you finish watching the video. The exterior color on this Bronco is called race red. That almost doesn't seem appropriate for a Bronco, but it does look very stunning on this vehicle. And you'll find a really kind of a classic look to a Bronco. If you're looking at the front end of this, even though it's not an original style Bronco, you can still see some of that in the way the headlights are designed. But the overall design looks nice and modern at the same time, with the way the turn signal indicator integrates itself actually into the grille right here. You're going to find the Bronco logo across, and obviously tow hooks for when those Jeeps that you do run across on the trail get stuck. Well, you've got the tow hooks right down here and also on the rear to help pull them out because you're just a nice person, right? I often talk about multitaskers, and the lights here built not only into the side of the side view mirrors but also underneath serve as just that, because not only can they help you out on the trail when it's dark, but heck, when you get home from the grocery store and it's dark, or whatever the case is, you can use those a multitude of different ways. And right here is the front camera, and yes, it does have a front camera washer with it. You can bring that up on the infotainment screen to actually see it in action, but it doesn't matter because every time you run the windshield washer fluid, which is how this front camera washer activates, it's going to use it anyway. So when you're washing the front windshield, you're also washing the camera. And while this is a 2.7 liter six-cylinder under the hood, you might think, yeah, it's not going to be very powerful. Well, actually it makes 330 horsepower and 415 foot-pounds of torque. And the really cool thing here, although it's not something that really separates it from the Jeep necessarily, but it does from a lot of other competitors, is that it offers either a 10-speed automatic transmission or a 7-speed manual. If you want to keep millennials from stealing your Bronco, well, you know which transmission to choose. And MPGs are super easy to give you because, well, they're 17 across the board, 17 highway, city combined. And then according to Ford, I think this is a pretty impressive number. You're supposed to use 5.9 gallons of gas per every 100 miles you drive. One thing that I did find interesting here, one of my favorite features, is not here, which is the struts that hold the hood up. But here's what's interesting. When you put the manual rod down, you have to put it right down here and kind of pull on the front to get it to snap in place. It's kind of take a little MacGyvering to get used to, but I'm sure you can.
And what about the tire size? You're looking at a 315/70 wrapped around a 17-inch wheel. Those tires are definitely going to get the job done off-road. And heck, you could take one off and flip it down the road a few feet and get a workout. It's another one of those multitaskers.
And it's always nice to have a full-size spare. You might want to be flipping that tire over and over and over again to be in shape if you ever have to take this off by yourself. But you know, there's a way to actually get around that. Opening this rear door can actually give you a workout. I mean, if you were to stand here and just kind of do this, in fact, I did this a little bit earlier, and just for fun, let's take a look at the before and after shots of my bicep and see if you can actually tell a difference. I don't know that you really can, but heck, why not take a look? And back here, plenty of cargo capacity. You have 4 built-in hooks into the floor right here so you can tie things down as you need to. And underneath the floor, you'll find not only some storage space, but everything needed to change a tire. Nothing to help you lift that spare tire unless you have a buddy with you. And then you also have the funnel right here in case you run out of gas and have to use a gas can to put gas in. that allows you to use this to put that in and make that process work, and work a lot easier than it would otherwise. And what about cargo capacity? Well, let's tell you what all of those numbers are. They start at 22.4 up to 38.3 cubic feet. Maximized, you're looking at 52.27 up to 82.97 cubic feet. That's a lot of space. There are some larger SUVs that don't have that much cargo capacity. What about towing? People are going to probably want to know about that too. 3,500 pounds is max towing here. So while that may be a little disappointing for some people, well, tell me down in the comments what your thoughts are. Now I'm going to work my muscles again and close everything down here. Not that the window is heavy, but now, obviously, with the ground clearance of this Bronco, it's a good thing you have a grab handle right here, because it would be really hard to get in and out of otherwise. So I'm going to use that to hop in here. Now, it does seem a little cramped back here by the way it looks, but to be honest with you, it's not nearly as bad as it looks. I actually have a reasonable amount of leg space. I have some space above my head. Keep in mind, I'm 5'10", so that kind of gives you an idea. And obviously, here's something interesting. It says no step on the back of the console here. I don't know that I've ever stepped over the console or used the console as a step before. Maybe you have. Tell me in the comments about that. And you're going to have the buttons here to control the side windows here, obviously, and some connectivity options with USB and the household style power outlet right there. And if somebody does wind up sitting here in the center seat, in the back seat here, because this obviously is a 5-passenger model, the good news is that the transmission tunnel is not all that terribly high, so that will actually help in that area. But we're just getting started. Let's hop into the front seat and see what you'll find there. And a couple of things that caught my attention here. Number one is that the button for opening the door, kind of the passive entry of sorts right here, if you have the remote on your person, is in a little bit of a different place than what we usually see it. But honestly, I really like that instead of having it on the back of the door handle. And something that is unique to only Ford and Lincoln vehicles, as far as I know, I don't think anybody else is offering this in these days, is the keypad right here. Make sure you go into your infotainment system and program that, because if you ever lose your remote or leave it in the vehicle or whatever happens and you don't have any access to the vehicle, you have a secondary fail-safe that you're not going to find on many other vehicles. Now, one thing with the ride height of this Bronco, just out of habit, and because I haven't, this is only the second Bronco, believe it or not, that I've done in the 650 plus videos I've featured here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel. Out of habit, I reached right up here for a grab handle. And I was thinking to myself, wow, it doesn't make any sense for there not to be one there. Some of you already know, but it's actually right here. Kind of an interesting spot for that, but it's not bad. I got used to that pretty quickly, and honestly, I think that's a little bit better because you can grab onto that and the steering wheel if you need to, and it makes it a whole lot easier to hop into the front seat of this Bronco, which is exactly what we're about to do. And obviously, as I hop in using that grab handle right there, now I'm going to be reaching to the side of everything I drive that's high off the ground, but we're going to hit the push button start and show you around the interior. I mean, let's face it, the previous generation of the Bronco many years ago, nobody even thought about the kind of technology that we see these days here in these Broncos. And so you have a very nice modern looking instrument cluster. You can go through all sorts of information. You have voice commands, everything you're used to. Heck, it even has a turn signal lever there. So when you're turning to the right or the left, you can let people around you know what you're doing. I know a lot of people can't afford that option on their vehicles, but this one comes with it. So come in here and buy it from Jimmy Grande Ford. And steering wheel mounted controls, everything easy to use. Now, obviously, you're not going to have all your controls over here on the door because, well, they're removable. So they're all down here on the center console. So you still have the ability to do what you need to do to open things, lock things, all that kind of stuff. And I like the fact that you have, just like with the F250s and 350s and up, you've got the pre-wired switches right here. That's very nice. And then you have controls up here for several different functions of the vehicle, and your infotainment screen, very easy to use, one of the easiest in the industry, honestly. And for those of you who maybe haven't had this kind of technology before, These Fords make it super easy to learn. Dual zone climate control, you've got wireless charging, quite a bit of connectivity here, not only with USB down here on the area of the center console right above the wireless charging pad, but also right here on the dashboard on the top, right in front of that windshield or inside the windshield. And then all your controls for shifter, and then all of your driving modes and four-wheel drive, low and high, and all that good stuff. It's all very easy to use right there. And then right here, the center console, quite a bit of space in there. I like the height of the console because you can use that easily as an armrest. You're not sitting way down trying to get to the armrest like you do in some vehicles. Ford doing a very nice job. Earlier, I talked about the fact that this Bronco has good on-road manners. Let's get out on the road and test those on-road manners for ourselves. All right, we're out on the road for our test drive, and you can hear I'm already kind of into the pedal a little bit. This thing's surprisingly fast for having so much gear to turn with those taller tires. It really makes a difference. I'm getting a good bit of wind noise, but I think that kind of thing is to be expected to a great degree with a vehicle like this. I don't know, because this is the first one I've done. I did one other Bronco a couple of years ago, but it wasn't this particular model. So the fact that it gets down the road so well, actually need to slow down a little bit. This thing's a lot faster than I expected. I'm really surprised at how well this drives. And it's just going straight and true down the road. The handling seems to be just as advertised. Very good. Unfortunately, I can't really give you an option to know what that's like off-road, at least in today's video, because I don't really have a location to do that. But I must say, I am really impressed. I'm gonna get on the brakes here just a little bit, not super hard, but enough to say, well, the brakes work well too. Now, this is a used model, so maybe that's not the most accurate thing to give, but if it were brand new, that means the brakes would be even better. But this one seems to be in really good shape. Now, I am in sport mode, so I must say, I'm impressed. I'm gonna drop down to, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go to normal first and just see if I can tell much of a difference in acceleration. So we're gonna slow down just a little bit again, and we're gonna hit the pedal one more time. I can tell that it's not accelerating quite as quickly, but that's to be expected in different driving modes. So I like the fact that it's easy to see out of. That is one big advantage. And while the Jeep has the same type of windshield, basically, it's pretty much just a 90-degree, that makes a big difference. It's easy to see out of. Now, I am driving over some of the worst portions of the road that I'm on right now. And honestly, I am stunned at how well this Bronco is handling the bumps driving down the road. The road is very rough through this area. And honestly, I'm very surprised at how well it's handling those bumps. Now, keep in mind, I say this a lot in the videos because you do have to remember, depending on what a person is used to driving on a daily basis, what they have the most experience in is going to determine what they're going to say about ride quality of other vehicles. My verdict is I'm really impressed as I get on the pedal one more time. So tell me down in the comments, do you think that this Ford Bronco is a better option than the Jeep Wrangler? Tell me why or why not, depending on how you answered. Obviously, if you're looking for a vehicle that isn't as typical and often seen on the road as so many others, well, a highly customizable vehicle as well, this Bronco is definitely a solid option. Gotta say a special thanks to my friends at Jimmy Grande Ford for giving me the opportunity to show you this Bronco today, and all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out another of the videos that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.